You're watching Reality Check. In the knife-edge political contest in Rajasthan, are the scales tilting against Ashok Gehlot? Here's what happened today. Worried that they may lose their battle against Sachin Pilot and his rebels in the High Court tomorrow, the Rajasthan Speaker had asked the Supreme Court to stay the High Court from passing an order on the notice of disqualification against Pilot and his rebels, arguing that the High Court can't intervene till the Speaker passes an order. But it took a 3-judge bench in the Supreme Court just 90 minutes to reject that plea. The court declined to stay the High Court verdict. It said it needs a longer hearing to decide the power of courts versus that of the Speaker, and said we'll hear the case on Monday. But it did say that the High Court decision will be subject to a final order of the Supreme Court. Not just that, in what appeared to be a double whammy for the Congress, the Supreme Court also appeared to question the move to disqualify the rebels. Justice Arun Mishra told the lawyer for the Speaker Kapil Sibal that the disqualification notice, will become a tool and no one can raise their voice. The voice of dissent in a democracy cannot be suppressed like this, he said. Now all of this also calls into question the Congress's legal strategy. First, fighting the case in the High Court with top lawyer Abhishek Singhvi, and then perhaps sensing an adverse order, a sudden move to approach the Supreme Court with a new Congress legal heavyweight in Kapil Sibal. Now, Mr. Sibal in his arguments today addressed the political consequences of the Congress losing in court, saying, if the Supreme Court does not stay the High Court order, the rebels will topple the government. Topple the government. Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot, though, today put up a brave face after the verdict came, saying that he has the numbers and he will call the Rajasthan Assembly.
विधानसभा का सत्र भी जल्दी होगा, मेजॉरिटी हमारे साथ में है, पूरे कांग्रेस विधायक एकजुट है, सत्य की जीत होगी, सत्यमेव जयते, सत्यमेव जयते, सत्यमेव जयते.
Look, the fact is that while today's order, and even if the order goes against the Gehlot government tomorrow, it still may not have an immediate bearing on a show of strength. But the worry for Mr. Gehlot is this, that every legal defeat only increases the chances of more defections from his camp, something that he cannot afford given his precarious majority. All right, joining us tonight on Reality Check, we have with us Vivek Tankar, Rajya Sabha MP of the Congress and a senior lawyer himself. We also have Vikas Singh, senior Supreme Court advocate and a former additional Solicitor General of India. Lalita Kumaramangalam, member India Foundation, member of the BJP, is also with us. Great to have you, ma'am. Let's start with Vivek Tankar. Vivek Tankarji, thank you so much for joining us. Now, before I come to what happened in court and the legal implications, I just want to ask you in terms of the Congress legal strategy, the point I was making earlier about first having a hearing in the High Court with Abhishek Singhvi, then when the High Court reserves order, then going to the Supreme Court and saying stay this using Kapil Sibal. There appears to be some kind of confusion or lack of coordination. Is that fair?
Srinivasan, I don't think what you say is correct.
Okay.
There is a well-defined strategy in pushing its various teams in front.
Okay.
For Abhishek ji, this was his home turf, Rajasthan, so he was the best person we could think of to argue the case.
Okay.
As far as Delhi is concerned, since it was an SLP by the Speaker, so only they could be presented by one lawyer. And Sibal Saab was available and also willing to take this responsibility.
Okay.
So we all thought it's a good idea that he should come forward, and I'm sure after Monday, when more parties come into picture, Abhishek ji will also be there. It's not. I don't think it's an issue at all.
Okay, but now in hindsight, looking at what the Supreme Court did today, which is basically reject your demand that the High Court order be stayed, would you say that this whole strategy has backfired? It hasn't worked?
Not at all. Please don't look at it like that at all. And that's where you're going wrong.
Okay.
Anybody who who knows law would have guessed this was the kind of order that would be passed today.
Okay.
The case had been heard fully
Yes.
for the interim orders. There was an interim order till Tuesday. Now, the court only extended that interim order by another 3 days for tomorrow.
Yes.
That is only to write the judge order and deliver the order.
Yes.
Now, in this situation, it was not difficult for whether Mr. Sibal or me or anybody to know or imagine that the order could be that we will entertain your petition, which is our victory. That the Supreme Court has entertained our petition.
Right.
It has also begun arguments, hearing arguments on the petition.
Right.
It has also said whatever happens in Rajasthan tomorrow, it could be in our favor, it could be against us. It will be, all this is going to be subject to what the Supreme Court decides. Suppose if they had raised the same issue as the first issue in Rajasthan on the first day,
Yes.
whichever party would have succeeded on that issue on that day, suppose,
Yes.
even then the matter would have traveled to Supreme Court on the same issue.
No, that's
So,
true.
Frankly speaking, don't give too much into what has happened in Supreme Court. Supreme Court is a court of law. It declares law for us.
No, but Tanka Sahab, I'm not, with all respect, I'm not making much of it. With all respect, it was the Speaker and, in a sense, the Congress which immediately rushed to the Supreme Court, I mean, rather suddenly rushed to the Supreme Court after first agreeing to postpone the Speaker order till after the High Court order, abrupt decision to suddenly move the Supreme Court, almost as if anticipating that the order is not going to come in your favor.
No. I think it is more a jurisdictional issue which the Speaker had in mind.
Right.
And let me know, governments don't get elected or they don't fall because of purely Supreme Court orders. The government get elected or they continue or they win or fall.
Yes.
When they lose numbers.
Right.
Now, if we have the numbers and Mr. Gehlot has the number today, I'm sure this is only one part of the strategy which we are pursuing. But the real strategy is to demonstrate the numbers on the floor of the House, which will be done. I'm sure. We are confident about it.
You're not worried that if tomorrow the order goes against you and the MLAs are protected from disqualification, that may actually erode your numbers, that may trigger more defections?
There, I would like to say with utmost humility, there is a larger question which stares at us in this country. Will our democracy survive this pungent demolition of its institutions? If Manipur, Goa, Karnataka, MP, Rajasthan, the kind of Ayaram, Gayaram is happening, it is public knowledge that people are changing sides.
No, that's a wider...
No. Why I'm saying this?
That's a wider question.
You can't have a system where you elect one government and then there's a rule of another government because of change of legislators. Change of mind. So money and this issue and all the pressure that you build on the Chief Minister and his family, does it look even fair to democracy? Will our democracy
that's a wider that's a wider question. I'll get into that in a second.
You can't run away from this. It's happening. It's happening.
Tanka Sahab, I'll get into it. I'm just right now trying to figure out today, Vikas Singh, do you agree with Tanka Sahab that actually it may not have been that bad a day in court for the Congress party? This was expected anyway?
Well, I don't think Mr. Tanka has a choice but to put up a brave front having come to the Supreme Court. I think it's a huge setback today for them. And having this petition on Monday, really speaking, is of no consequence, because tomorrow when a final order is passed or another order is passed by the High Court, that order will have to be challenged separately and a separate SLP will have to be filed. So this SLP on Monday will be told that this has become infructuous because another order has come in the meantime. So I don't think that there is anything in favor of Congress happening in court as of now. Although I personally feel that it is sad, because this was a case where I felt that the Supreme Court should have stayed, because a constitution bench of the Supreme Court has taken the view, and with a great amount of caution that view was taken, that we should not interfere because of the separation of powers. We should not interfere in the Speaker's decision.
Right.
But they said, all right, we will interfere, but only at the final stage when a decision is taken, not at the interim stage. So once the Constitution bench had said that you can't interfere at the interim stage, the High Court had no business to go into this question and start looking at the procedural impropriety and saying that this has not been done or that has not been done. The High Court had to wait till the Speaker took a final call in this matter. And the Congress strategy of coming to Supreme Court, according to me, they should have come on the very first day when the Speaker asked them to respond. They should have said that they have a full right. The Speaker should have said that he has a full right to take a final decision, and the court can come only thereafter, not before.
Well, the point about that...
This completely violates the...
Okay, the point about coming early, you're right. I believe that there may even have been different views within the Congress on what to have done. But given how the Supreme Court has responded today, again, one wonders whether that would have helped. But Siddharth Luthra, do you also broadly agree with what Vikas Singh is saying, that while this may have been a setback for the Congress today, the fact is that the High Court had no business getting into all this only at this stage when simply a notice has been issued?
I think it is not appropriate for anybody to comment on the High Court's decision to hear the matter and then decide, actually, including the Speaker, have argued the matter at length before the High Court. As Vikas Singh rightly pointed out, that if there was a concern, you should have come on the first day, and having not come on the first day, having participated, coming at this stage was possibly too late in the day. Having said that, what has the Supreme Court done? Let's understand that. They have said it's a legal issue, but because the matter is now reserved for judgment, we don't want to interdict the proceedings in the High Court. I must also point out that now that the matter is in the Supreme Court, there is a Supreme Court decision, in fact, 1986 on a different issue, but the legal issue is that if the Supreme Court is seized of the matter, the High Court ought not to proceed and ought to stay its hands.
Okay.
But in this case, what has happened is by getting essentially a direction from the Supreme Court that the High Court can proceed, that principle is not going to apply.
Right.
So while there is a legal issue to be considered on the powers aspect, but the second SLP will, depending on whichever side wins or loses, it will come up here as possibly very soon.
Right.
But the High Court decision will determine if the pilot side wins, then early that the other side is going to challenge it. But if the other side wins, then the pilot side will be left with no remedy. But meanwhile, the Speaker will have possibly acted. The mechanics of this case are going to really determine tomorrow's High Court decision, and that is going to really determine what the strategy for the party is going to be on Monday, Tuesday, because there are going to be consequences to the decision in one case, perhaps not so much in the other.
Right. Lalita Kumaramangalam, moving away from for a moment from the legalese, the point that Vivek Tankha is making, that if we step back and look at this, the end of the day, what is this really becoming about, as he seems to be alleging, essentially coups within the Congress backed by the BJP, upending democratically elected governments in state after state?
Vasu, I think you're letting your lack of objectivity show. But let me say one thing, that it is neither for me nor for anybody else to comment on what the High Court or the Supreme Court has decided or may decide tomorrow. Now, the Congress has for a long time been declining, not just in strength in terms of in the assemblies and the center, but also in terms of their popularity at the grassroots. Now, regardless of what may be said on social media every day, elections are won at the booth level. And I know I entered the BJP about 3 years ago. I was sent to work in the grassroots. We were not in power for most of that time, and it was very clearly told to us that if you are interested in electoral politics, you very well go there and work your ass off. Sorry for the language. Yeah?
Okay.
And we operate across the board. Every party has its internal dissensions. There's not a single party in a democracy that doesn't have it. It is up to the party leaders as to how they deal with it. Every party has had it. To be fair, to constantly blame it on another party is not only foolish,
Okay.
it's also very short-sighted.
So you say
Look,
it's
the
wrong to
Congress
blame
was
the
in power
BJP.
For 10 years, they should have built their party up
Okay.
from the bottom upwards when they could. It's to say the BJP is at fault for everything.
Okay.
But in 6 years of Mr. Modi being in power, the Congress has been decimated to this extent. At least, I'm being very, very kind and soft here, you know that. At least 50% of that blame should be laid at the door of the leaders of the Congress.
Okay, so you're
You
saying
could
blame
kind
the
of
leaders of the
force blame
Congress,
the BJP
not the
Congress at
BJP.
fault.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Can I
you
just
see, the
okay?
weakness
Point
is
made.
in the BJP.
Okay, point made. Point made. Let me get a response to that.
Not with the BJP, it is within
Let
the
me get
Congress.
okay. Point made. Let me get a
And that is
response to
not
that. Let me ask Vivek Tanka before I come to that. Just to simplify this, Tanka Saab, because we have some big legal heavyweights on the show, but just to simplify it for the viewer. Now, what does this mean? Because as you said, ultimately what matters are the numbers. Now, if tomorrow, let's assume the High Court order goes against you, does that mean that the other side could demand a floor test? And then Mr. Gehlot will have to face that floor test where these MLAs who are now protected from disqualification could vote against you?
Srinivasan, there's another twist to this whole thing. You are asking me whether if the MLAs or the parties demand a floor test, what would be the situation?
Yeah, even the
After
BJP
tomorrow,
could.
provided
Yeah.
we don't succeed before the High Court. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
We could also succeed before the High Court, frankly speaking.
Sure,
But
sure.
you are putting a hypothetical question. Suppose
Yes.
you don't succeed, so you can't disqualify people.
Yes.
Then on your present strength, you have to have the floor test.
Yes.
Now, the moment that so happens, so BJP first has to go, like in Madhya Pradesh, with a list of MLAs to show that it has a majority support to demand a floor test. Otherwise, in normal circumstances, it should be a no confidence motion when the legislature meets. It's only when you can give numbers by name and with a list that you can go to the governor and say that out of 200, these
Right.
110 people are with me. So once that happens, I think the speaker can again have a new cause of action if Congress approaches the speaker for this for action against these people. So don't think that the whole thing ends today. As I
I
said,
see.
the larger question is
Okay, you're saying.
what is the
No,
you must-
interesting. Just to kind of explain that to the viewers, what you're saying is that if these rebels also are part of the demand for a floor test, and if their numbers are also added to that of the BJP count, that becomes a fresh ground for their disqualification.
Yes, which was not decided by the High Court.
Oh, I see. Okay, interesting. But let me ask you this: that all this entire rebellion, this entire situation can be de-escalated overnight if you manage to settle the dispute with Sachin Pilot. Why has that not happened yet?
I'm not privy to what transpires between Sachin and the High Command
Sure.
or whoever has been talking to him, but I still have faith that Sachin will see reason and will do something, will not do anything which destabilizes a democratically elected government which he helped to bring into power.
Okay.
You know, he was a person who worked hard for 5 years. And will he like to see the demolition of that structure which he built?
Well, you were on
I'm
my.
sure if Sachin is listening to me, I mean, if he's hearing the debate,
Yes.
I would tell Sachin, please rethink and meet the people you know so well. And come back to your family, because the family is the place where you will get all your importance, no other place.
Tanka Saab, that's a very emotional and personal appeal, but the fact that a senior leader like you, who's by the way respected by people within the party on all sides, has to make this appeal publicly on TV and not offline to Sachin, also in a sense indicates that communication lines have broken down. Right? I mean,
No, I don't say that. I have done this because this is an additional opportunity which
Okay.
has come to me.
Okay,
right
fair
now.
enough.
Otherwise, If there was no opportunity, there would be other communication lines.
Okay, fair enough. Vikas Singh, do you agree with what Tankha Sahab, as he tells it, that the floor test is not inevitable in the event that the Congress loses tomorrow? It's really only after the governor has to be convinced that the Congress has lost the numbers.
You know, Srinivasan, the problem lies actually elsewhere. He may be right, technically he's right, that there will be a floor test after this as well, and they can still be disqualified on a fresh cause of action.
Yeah.
But the problem really is that if you see the 10th schedule, it says you are disqualified. Now, disqualified is only for a day. You can change party and get elected to the very same house, which was never the intention of the parliament of ensuring that a person who gets disqualified can come into the house by changing parties. So that unfortunately is a very wrong interpretation done by the Supreme Court by an earlier judgment in Karnataka, where they said that you may be disqualified but you change a party and enter the same house. And two things. There is a later Supreme Court judgment by Justice Nariman where he has said that this speaker getting the right to decide, really speaking, doesn't make it a proper adjudicatory function because he is a member of the party and he, doesn't take an objective view. So there should always be a permanent tribunal to hear to such kind of dispute. So these two amendments will have to be really brought into the 10th schedule. One, that a disqualification means that you can't enter the house for the full 5 years of the term.
Right.
And second, that the adjudication should be done by an independent tribunal, because then only you will have faith in the method of adjudication of a disqualification.
Okay. Siddharth Luthra, very quickly, if you were advising Ashok Gehlot, would you say go for a floor test now, take that risk if you claim you have the numbers or not?
I concur with Mr. Tankha that refusal to comply with the whip by these entities will lead to disqualification, and that is the legal position. And therefore, I would say all is not lost for Mr. Gehlot yet, but time will tell how this pans out.
Time will tell. Vivek Tankha, would you advise Ashok Gehlot to go for a floor test? If you claim you have the numbers?
He has majority. So if somebody wants to challenge his majority, the normal procedure is to bring a vote of no confidence when the assembly meets. There has to be a meeting of the assembly sooner or later.
But
floor test is an abnormality. I mean, it doesn't happen in normal circumstances. It is dehors the assembly.
Okay.
That you have a floor test. Now, for that, somebody has to go and say that we have lost our majority, and he has to give numbers. They did that in Madhya Pradesh.
Okay,
they went with 22 resignations of people who resigned and have now become ministers and not disqualified because there's no speaker in Madhya Pradesh.
Okay.
I mean, is this a joke? What are we seeing in this country?
Well, that's a matter, that is a wider debate. But for the moment, 10:30 tomorrow morning is when the High Court order is going to come. And as you said, regardless of even whether you lose that, Mr. Gehlot can still, summon the assembly and seek a trust vote. But the numbers are so tight, just 102. That's just one above the majority mark, and that really puts it on the razor's edge. Anyway, gentlemen and Lalita Kumaramangalam, thank you so much for joining us. That's all the time we have. Reality Check. Thanks so much for watching. Good night.